Yes, and welcome to the final and third part of tonight's show. Joined by a duo now, a special guest there called Blackmore Knight. They're made up of Candice Knight and Ritchie Blackmore, whose name you might know as a founding member of Deep Purple and, of course, Rainbow. They were formed in 1997, Blackmore Knights. They are about to release a new album called Nature's Light. It features 10 tracks. It's inspired by nature, woodlands, and flora and fauna. So here to tell me more, we have the duo Candice Knight and Ritchie Blackmore. Just want to say thank you very much for joining me on today's show. Now you have your new album out. It's called Nature's Light. And we'll be just having a look at a couple of the tracks to find out more about yourselves and the album as well. So first up, the opening track on the album. Also, the first single release is called Once Upon December. Can you tell me more about that song, please?
Once Upon December was a song, it's actually a very old Italian song that was introduced to us by an incredible musician, very good friend of ours, who had passed away a couple of years ago. His name is Owen Fife of the New World Renaissance Band. Yes. Incredible balladeer, amazing minstrel. We brought him on tour with us when we went overseas.
He likes to drink.
He was a good drinker.
Excellent man.
But fabulous person. And
yes.
And he introduced the song to us. It was originally a track called Fuji, Fuji, Fuji. And it's just such a great song. And the way that he would do it as he traveled throughout, he was a Renaissance fair performer. And he would just travel throughout the fairs and perform the song. And as soon as we heard the song, we knew it was something that we would want to do. So we didn't actually take the words of Fuji, Fuji, Fuji. We changed the words and made it Once Upon December. But
yes.
That's where the musical portion of that came from.
Thanks for briefly talking about Once Upon December. Another track on your album, Nature's Light, which come to my attention, and forgive my pronunciation if correct, was this track. It was called De Letzi Musketeer. Can you tell me more about that, please? Over to Ritchie Blackmore now.
I was in a band in 1964, before anybody was born, and it was called the Musketeers. Die Drei Musketeer. We lived in Germany and played, and we dressed up as the Musketeers, much like I'm dressed now. It was nostalgic. We played three-piece band, and cut a long story short, it was my way of thanking the other two, which have since passed on. So I'm now the last Musketeer. It was my favorite band of all time, the Musketeers. We only did about 6 shows, but it was my favorite band of all time because I don't think we didn't become famous, so there was no
pressure.
No pressure, exactly. We were just all great friends, but unfortunately 2 of them passed away, so I'm the last Musketeer.
And that's what that means in German, the last Musketeer.
Yes, very interesting, and I love the music from Germany, like the Jumper bands and the Bavarian music scene as well. Just trying to picture how they used to dress in medieval times as well. Obviously, you had bards, troubadours as well, and those medieval entertainers. They were very flamboyant in the way they dressed. Moving on to another track I wanted to ask about was a Sarah Brightman number. It's called Second Element. Why did you choose this track for this album, please?
We've been big fans of Sarah Brightman for very many years, and her work with Frank is just incredible. And we found out that actually when we heard the song on an album that she had done many years ago, we just instantly fell in love with it. Second Element 2, I think it's like Roman numeral 2, but there's 2 versions of it. One she does is more of a love song, and this other one, it's really still a love song, but it's a love song to the element of water, and how water is the source of our lives, and how, traveling through rivers and springing up life everywhere it goes. And it was just such a fascinating concept. Of course, we're very connected with elements, with earth, with nature, with fire, with water, with air, with the moon with the sun, all of this going back to nature's light again. So we thought that it would be a perfect home to do a song that was so entwined with our theory of nature's light in the element of water. And that would what the song wound up being, the second element, which was the water element.
Yes, and that's one track to definitely check on out. Second Element, Sarah Brightman's song, of course, a soprano as well. She was first started out in Hot Gossip and released a few singles as well. Starship Troopers, and then of course that international hit, best known for Time to Say Goodbye. Now on to your other tracks on the album. I know you're particularly influenced and inspired by medievalness, castles, and that Renaissance period, 14th to 16th century. Can you tell me more about Going to the Fairies? That's a very interesting song title.
Going to the Fair.
I think you could explain that one.
Going to the Fair is one of the songs that was originally done by Teilman Susato, who is Ritchie's favorite Renaissance composer.
Yes.
And now this is one of the songs from Dancerai.
Yes.
And of course, we put it through the Ritchie, we call it the Blackmorizing machine, where the original song goes through Ritchie and then comes out the other side, a completely other song.
After breakfast.
Comes out another side. But it was such a light, airy song. And again, we're so inspired not only by nature and by folklore, but by these Renaissance fairs that we go to. It's truly an escape from stresses and pressures of today. So the song is definitely inspired by our wonderful times at different Renaissance fairs. We tried to go to Renaissance fairs every single year before this past year happened.
It is an escape, but I find now that we can't relax and just go to the fairs because people go, oh, that's, we seem to be there.
That happens, but
it's great, but
it brings you back to the childlike innocence of just wonder and awe and just enjoying yourself just for the sake of that moment and looking through the veil and seeing gypsies dancing and Ritchie goes right to the mead tent, the mead,
well, that's my first
and the minstrels
stop.
and the jousting and it's just really going to a whole other world. It's amazing. And so, of course, we bring our children with us to these fairs too. So they've been doing it since they were little, but we got them to sing.
But we used to bring other people's children that we didn't even know.
What are you, the Pied Piper? Why would you do that? But so, no, I mean, if you like the end of the song is our kids singing along.
Yes, it is.
So it's really a family project.
Yeah.
During the song.
That's definitely a Renaissance fair song.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you went into quite a bit of detail about Going to the Fairies an album track off your new album, which is called Nature's a Light, and trees as well. Trees, there's something about trees which are just majestic, and no exception is the oak tree. Your track Twisted Oak, tell me more, please.
Musically, the Twisted Oak was inspired by one of Ritchie's minstrel friends.
My German friends in the Das Geiers Schwarze
Always comes back.
Which means the Black Pile, which were the people that were revolting against. Florian Geyer was the one who went against in the 1600s war, where the peasants were being punished and they were paying too much in taxes, the farmers. The basic melody that the violinist or the nickel harp player was playing beneath another song. And I said to Candy, the way he's playing and improvising over the other song, and the other song we had released, which was called World of Stone. And World of Stone had this amazing violinist's part, which I copied. Candice taught me how to play it because she's very good at remembering melodies, which I'm not. I tend to improvise all the time. And that came out as that song, Twisted Oak. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're back to, I owe a lot to this particular band, my friends in Germany, this medieval Renaissance band that come out with these such brilliant melodies. They really inspire me, so I'm always taking from them. I don't mean to, but I can't help it.
And finally, I'm going to ask you the track Four Winds, which we're going to play imminently. Can you elaborate more on that song?
For a very long time, I've wanted to write a song about these two girls that are very special to me, very close to my heart. Two of my closest friends that I've grown up with. One of them I knew since the age of 5, and the other one I met in 10th grade. Both of them taken off into very, very different paths in the world, life paths. So lyrically, I wanted to write a song about it, and when Four Winds came up, it seemed to be the perfect perfect avenue to really get their stories out. So one of them left Long Island, where she was born, and went to the West Coast, lived on the ocean, sort of this dolphin spirit, very new agey, and just an amazing soul, an amazing spirit. And the other one went to the woods. That was her spirit animal was the wolf. So I had the dolphin spirit animal and the wolf spirit animal, one for the ocean, one for the woods. And so this song is about both of them, the embodiment of both of their stories in very short form, only 3 verses, I think. But it's really kind of the idea or an ode to each one of these girls.
Well, herzlichen Dank to both of you for joining me on the show. We had Ritchie Blackmore and Candice Knight from the Renaissance folk rock, medieval rock group Blackmore's Night. It's been a privilege to have you on the show, and we're going to play one of your tracks now. I've chosen this one. It's Blackmore's Night and Four Winds.